Hello and welcome to another episode of an experiment called Life with Alex Mackenzie. That's me. As always, this episode is brought to you by Punchline Nutrition. Go and check out NeuroBoost. It is our flagstone product. I take it before every writing session. I take it before I do comedy and before I do this podcast. I love it. I feel like it just makes me sharper, brighter, and my mind is just working better when I'm boosted on NeuroBoost. So go check that out. Also use the code ATJ to save 25% at checkout, I believe, on all products. So we got pre-workout, test boosters, you name it, we got it. Go look at it. Creatine, great stuff. And the Happy Camper Comedy Tour is coming to an end. So we've got a few shows left. We've got, where is it? We've got Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie. That's fun one for Lispy guy over here. And Yellowknife. We added a second show in Yellowknife because the first one is sold out. And then we come back and we finish up in Port Moody and Vancouver. So there's about 5 shows left on this. It's been over a year-long tour now. Very, very exciting, man. Really, really cool. And we got the special taping done, and that should be coming out in April, which I'm super excited to share with you guys. It's by far the best work that I've ever done, and I'm very, very happy with it. So that's very good. And then also, we just launched the Never Been Better Tour. So the Never Been Better Tour is on sale now. That starts April 25th in Prince Rupert. We're going all across BC, from north to south, all the way to the island. You name it, we're coming there. So if you're in British Columbia, check it out. That we will be adding more dates. We're actually going that tour again over a year long. But the first half of it is on sale now, which is the BC half of the tour. So you guys are going to love it. Also, ATJ saves you 25% on all tickets. And there is some early bird pricing available right now on those. All right. Now, let's get to the good stuff. This podcast is about meditation. So I thought that I would share, some of the stuff I've learned about meditation over the years. With me recently breaking my sobriety, I have been leaning back on my meditation routine a lot. I don't know, it's a good staple. It's one of the things like writing, journaling, and then meditation. It helps me a lot. I think it's really good. A lot of people say they're like, oh, I can't meditate because my brain just is too scattered, You're the one who needs to meditate. That's exactly what it's for. That's like when people say that they're like, I'm not flexible, so I can't do yoga. Or they're like, I'm not strong, so I don't like lifting weights. It's like you do that thing to become that thing, So it's like if you have a hard time concentrating, meditation is literally training your concentration. Because the whole art of meditation is just like, how quickly can you realize you're thinking and then go back to whatever your focal point is. But we'll get more into that in a minute. So I started meditating back in 2016 after a breakup. Like everything in life, a good breakup motivates you to take a look and be like, well, we got to try figure this out and get something going a little bit better, So I started meditating, but I was basically just I wasn't really meditating. I would just come home from work and I would sit on my living room floor, crisscross applesauce, and in the dark, and just think about the breakup or my life or things that I'm doing wrong. And that then led me to be like, well, I should probably figure out what meditation actually is. But there's so many different forms of it. And the thing that got me into it was I read a book called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabriel Bernstein. So that was the first book I read on meditation. It's very good, entry level into any of that stuff. It's not really on meditation. It kind of is, but a lot of it is just a spirituality book, I guess, and she talks about meditation and how it helped change her life. So I started there, and the first meditation I learned how to do was called a metta meditation. So it's like a love and kindness meditation. That's the one I would recommend, if you're looking to just find a easy way into it. It's very beneficial and fun. It's really good. So it's a love and kindness meditation, and it keeps you. It's easier to do because it has you focusing on a mantra. So you pick basically 1 to 3 to 5, whatever you want. I always did 3. I picked 3 mantras. And I would go, what would I do? I would say, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be loved. So those would be the three that I would pick. And then you start with yourself. So you always start, like any meditation, I would always start crisscross applesauce, like I said. Or sometimes I'm like in the position of surrender on my knees with a pillow in front of me. Then I like placing, I think it's like the standard is like putting your right palm over your left palm with your palms facing up and then touching your thumbs. You don't have to do any of that. You can do whatever you want, really. And you can close your eyes, keep them open. I always like to close mine. And then I always start with like 3 deep breaths just to kind of get into it. It just, I always go like a deep breath in through my nose and out through my mouth. And it's like breathing in, noticing I'm breathing in, breathing out, noticing I'm breathing out. Sometimes I'd be like, breathe in love, exhale fear. I actually say that a lot before I go on stage. I'll be like side stage and I go breathing in love, exhaling fear. So you do 3 of those, and then that's where you start with the mantra. So then I would go, may I be happy. And then I take a big breath in, and then a big breath out. And then after that I go, may I be healthy. And then again, big breath in, and then a big breath out. And it was like, and then, may I be loved. And then big breath in, and a big breath out. And even as I do it now, like, it just makes you feel like you can say, I'm just smiling. It makes you feel really good. And then from there, what you do is you step down. You do 5 layers. So you start with you, then you go to like a loved one, or like they say, beneficiary or a loved one. Then you go to a stranger, and then you'll go to an enemy. I don't like to think I have enemies, but like maybe someone you've had a hard time dealing with lately, or you've just been not seeing eye to eye with. But then the last one is all beings, So it would be like, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be loved. Then I would go to like my brother Liam, and I'd go, may Liam be happy, may he be healthy, may he be loved. And then for the for a stranger, a lot of time I just pick someone I saw at the gym or whatever. I'm like, the guy at the gym was lifting way heavier weights than me. May he be happy, may he be healthy, may he be loved. And then you got to pick an enemy, and I got an enemy, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to steal all my energy. So find someone there that you had a hard time dealing with, and then may they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be loved. And then all beings. And that's one that's very fun, because then I always think of like every single person in the world and every, animal and deer and squirrel out there, and my dog Finley. Sometimes Finley ends up in the number 2 spot though, But then you wish them to be happy, healthy, and loved. It just makes you realize like that is the only answer, Like if everyone's happy, healthy, and loved, like that would solve everything. It's because when you're those things, you're feeling good, you're feeling great, and you just add to the world. You're not upset about it all, So anyway, that's the meta meditation. Recommend starting with that one. It's great. It's very, very beneficial, very easy to do. And you still will wander. Like one thing that happens to me when I'm doing that is you have to remind yourself to sit in the moment. Like when you're like, oh, may Liam be happy. Then in my mind, I'm just thinking, okay, next is may Liam be healthy, may Liam be loved. And then you're like, okay, who's the stranger? Who's the stranger that I'm going to pick? And then who's the enemy? But you like slow down, focus on the thing. And a lot of thoughts will still come in. Like you're not going to get through it without being like, what am I going to have for lunch today? Like those things always come, and it's like, oh, how quickly can you notice that you're not focused on the thing and come back to whatever the focal point is and go through it. And that meditation usually takes like 5 to 7 minutes, which is a perfect amount of time. I would do it at the end of my day all the time, but it's probably really beneficial to do it in the morning. Lately I've been doing it at the gym after I do my workout. I've been in the sauna, and I've been doing it there, which has been really good. So check it out, Meta. Now the next one that I learned, which is a lot more advanced, I guess, but they call it like Vipassana. And there's a lot of different ways of this, how to do Vipassana. But the art of Vipassana is basically picking a focal point and then focusing intensely on it. So a lot of people use their breath. Some people use like their feet on the floor, whatever it is, like where their body's making contact with the floor, if they're sitting on the pillow, Some people, they start with like, they make a triangle under your nose to the corner of your mouth. So it's like from the tip of your nose to the side of each mouth makes a little triangle under your nose, and you focus intensely on that. And then you'll start expanding the area of focus, be like, okay, now like my whole head, and then they work their way through their whole body. But basically it's just pick whatever focus you want. I always pick the breath because I found that the easiest, and I could talk my way through it. So I would constantly be saying like, breathing in, noticing I'm breathing in, breathing out, noticing I'm breathing out. And then breathing in, noticing I'm breathing in, breathing out, noticing I'm breathing out. And you won't make it 3 breaths before something pops in your mind. And then the whole art of it, like I was kind of saying earlier, is like, how quickly can you notice that you're thinking and then come back to your breath? And sometimes it takes you 3 minutes, and then you realize, oh yeah, dude, I'm not focused on the thing I'm supposed to. And a good way of getting rid of it, because they say like you want to look at your thoughts as like a passing weather system, or like a sign on a highway. Like, you know, it's just, well, there it is, oh, there it goes. And like you just let it go and do not attach to the thought. And a good way of doing is they call it labeling. So like anytime a thought enters your mind, what you do is you just say, oh, thinking. Like, you know, it's just like, man, I wish I was out playing golf right now. Then you're just like, oh, thinking, and you label it thinking, and then you go back to your breath. Then you go breathing in, noticing I'm breathing in, breathing out, noticing I'm breathing out. And the thing that you get from it, like people are like, oh, well, what does it matter? Like, how do you, what do you get when you finally get it? And I don't know that, like I've rarely reached these moments of Zen where there's nothing coming in and you only get it for like a few seconds. But it does feel very freeing, relaxing. And one thing you notice is that like, you are not your thoughts. You're the awareness of your thoughts. So whatever thought you attach to, it really dictates how your day goes. Like I remember the first time doing these meditations, I'm like, man, I thought about like 50 different things that time. And depending on what I would have attached my attention to, could have led to very different outcomes for that, not just that session, but even that day. Like if I thought about something really sad and I sat there and ruminated on it, like I'm just going to be very, very sad for the rest of the time. Or if I think of something happy, I'm going to be happy. And then, or you know, something that I did that was mean, I'm going to feel shame. Like, and you realize you're like, oh man, these things are constantly whipping around up there. And whatever I decide to give my concentration to is going to then start dictating my reality. Because you realize your reality is formed by your perception. And yeah, I think that we have a lot more choice over those kind of things than we think we do. I mean, you can't choose what you think, but you can choose what you think about what you think, you know? Pretty good stuff. There's definitely some bits coming out of this. I've been writing on meditation the past few days. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind Vipassana. It's like, pick an isolated focus, and then as much as, I've set a timer for like 3 minutes, I don't know, 5 minutes, whatever, and just try and stay focused on that. And then every time you wander away, go, oh, thinking, and come back to the thought, or to the focal point. Now, there's a really good, I don't know, teacher, I guess, mentor, a guy that got me into it, whose name was like Joseph Goldstein. So you can go look up his stuff. He's really good. I think they have an app called 10% Happier. I don't know if that's his app or he just like does some work with it. But Sam Harris is also a guy that did it as well. But Joseph Goldstein, I really, really like. He has a very good quote, and I think it's such a good quote for life in general. But he talks about meditation. He says, it's simple, but it's not easy. Like the simple thing, it's like just sit there and focus on your breath and let it in and let it out. And I think that's so funny because like the art of meditation has been proven by science to, you know, help. It'll make you happier, it'll help you relieve stress, lower cortisol, increase serotonin, all of the things. And the art of meditation is to literally sit there and do nothing. But I am so lazy sometimes that I'll literally be like, I can't do nothing right now. You're like, dude, you won't even do nothing to make yourself feel better? Like, get it together, dude. What are you doing? So that's a really good quote. Another one they talk about is that you're trying to get your mind to be like, there's two I like. There was like the eye of the storm. So it's that the eye of the storm, that you're calm, collected, cool, even when there's all this chaos going on around you. So that was one. And the other one was you want to be like an anvil. Like the anvil never bends, never breaks. No matter what comes up against it, it maintains its shape and form, and everything else just bounces off of it. So those were a couple of the good Goldstein quotes that I really liked. Yeah. And then, we'll go over, I got two more things I was going to do. So the acronym RAIN. So RAIN is a very, it's a good acronym that they use in meditation, but it's called like recognize, acknowledge, investigate, non-identify. And I think I talked about this on an earlier episode when I was talking about depression. But recognize, first thing is like, but this is more just as you're going through your day. First you have to recognize something is up. You're like, I don't know, I don't feel good or whatever, like you just realize you're like, something's bothering me. So then you just recognize it, something's going on, then you acknowledge. So acknowledge is like, okay, I am feeling anxious. It's like, okay, and now you investigate. Why are you feeling anxious? You're like, well, because you've got to make that phone call later today where you have to have that conversation with someone, a difficult conversation that you've been avoiding. So you're like, all right, so that's what I'm anxious about. And then non-identify or non-attachment is the last one. And it's like, don't attach to that feeling. So again, it's like, okay, I am a person feeling anxiety. I am not an anxious person. Because a lot of the time we attach to these emotions, and then that's what we think that we are, and we start identifying with them. But it's like, don't do that. Just don't do it. Get out of there. No attachment. Coming from a guy who lives in a van alone, very good at not attaching myself to things. It's one of my great skills in life. But yeah, so those are like the things that I was just gonna write. I have here like some of the lessons that I learned, but it's I think I already kind of went through them. It's like, you are not your thoughts. You are, the awareness of your thoughts. So that was a good one, because I always thought, I'm like, dude, I'd be like walking and you'd see a cat. You're like, kick the cat. You're like, dude, you're a terrible human. You want to kick a cat right now? Like, no, I don't want to kick a cat at all. I don't know why I thought that. So then, like, once you learn that you are not your thoughts, you're just the awareness of, you're like, okay, my brain is an idiot, but I'm a pretty good guy, That's the thing. And then that your thoughts make your reality. So whatever you decide to attach yourself to and do your thoughts, then that is like what your perception is. Like if you think it's a good day, man, it's a good day. You think it's a bad day, yeah, it's a bad day. Like whatever you want to think and attach to, and it takes time and practice. Like I was a very depressive, sad person where I thought everything was terrible and falling apart. And then it was just like constantly practicing, realizing like, dude, everything is awesome. Like there's nothing I'd rather do than be alive. That's actually my favorite part about my life, is that I haven't died yet. I love being alive. It's a very, very fun thing, life. But I never used to think that. I was like, I can't wait for this to be over. Life sucks. Yeah. And then there's, the other two was like, you start realizing that like everything you need is already inside of you. And that's where it's so cool. Like all the things that you want are already there, man. Like all the happiness, everything that you want in life is in there. You just got to figure out how to get it out or how to access it. And that's what like drugs are weird, right? Because like all drugs do is like give you those neurotransmitters, right? Like cocaine gives you dopamine, MDMA gives you serotonin, but you're like, you can go and get those things naturally and find a way to do it yourself, like I'm doing this podcast, that's gonna give me dopamine because I'm like, check off my little thing, did a podcast today, good job, did my writing. So you can get all of them that way. You just figure out, dude, it's all inside you. You got it all in there. You just gotta get it out. All the jokes are in there. All of everything you've ever wanted is there, man. You just gotta find a way to get into it. And then also learning from that is that you realize like nothing external is as important as internal. Like, I think Conor McGregor has a quote about it, but it's like nothing externally can break you. Like the only things that'll break you are the internals. If you are strong enough to realize that. Are you strong enough? I don't know, maybe you gotta be smart enough, who knows? Take more neuro boost, you'll figure it out. But yeah, you want to be that. And it is like the only things that ever will stop you are the things internally, where it's like you start getting down on yourself, But yeah, don't worry about the outside world. Be that eye of the storm, baby. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. As always, go check out Punchline Nutrition. Use coupon code ATJ at checkout. Save yourself some money. And go to alextelljokes.com and check out all the tickets. Happy Camper Tour, never been better. And we got Hungry for Laughs coming up again. All right, I love you guys. Take care and talk soon.